Hi, this is Chang. Welcome back to my channel.
This is Dan from Vagabond Awake. I'm happy to be on your channel.
He always wants to come to my channel, you know. I try to push him out. But you are welcome today.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's very nice. We have this idea of an idea to share with you, and people think that traveling cheap is somehow a compromise, and we haven't found that to be true, and we're going to share with you today. It's actually better to travel cheap, and we're going to tell you why in this video.
Yes, so the first why I love travel cheap, it doesn't mean that I don't have money to travel expensive, but I just love to use my money in a better way to get better. I use in the low budget, but I have the same happiness that I have from the traveling. You understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, when some people travel, they stay in resorts, really nice hotels and stuff. And what we've noticed about resorts like that is that they're not really catered for an experience of the culture you're in. They're catered to attract people from other cultures and to give them what they expect if they were in their home country. And so it's not really like international travel when you do that. So we like to stay in apartments in more like normal neighborhoods where we have a kitchen and we can learn to go to the market, learn what local foods are, learn how to cook them, and have more of a normal life, so we're more integrated into the culture.
That's true, but I would not say that we are prefer on that way. But once in a while, maybe in Dan's birthday or my birthday, we will roll to the heights, just go for only one night in those hotels to experience the differences. But I'm not into those hotels, that kind of thing, because I don't know, it's not for me. That's all. You know,
yeah. I think that's when you want to celebrate rather than educate.
Yes.
And I think travel is more about education. If the world is a book, and each country is a chapter in that book, and when you are celebrating, it's more about just enjoying yourself rather than educating yourself. But when you're reading each chapter of the book, you kind of need to get to know the culture you're in. So. And
true. And also I can see the high-end hotel, how is the culture in that country. Yeah. And the normal people hotel or apartments, I learn more about culture, about what they eat, you know, what they praying, what they do. Yeah. That's a difference for them.
Good point. I mean, to really explore a country, you need to see a whole multitude of different kinds of people that live there and the sorts of lives they live.
Yes.
And there's no reason to shun the wealthy, if you will.
And also learn their language. Because in the high-end hotel, definitely they all speak English to you, or they will catering to your language. You know, they will have different people.
Yeah, exactly.
But the local hotel, you need to try yourself hand language.
Translating on Google. And, that's how you know whether if the hotel receptionist where you're going speaks English. Yeah. You're probably you're not going to learn much about the culture because she's adapting to you.
Yes.
It's the same with food, really. I mean, we like to get to know what the local foods are in each country. If we just go to the tourist restaurants or the high-end, often around the world, there's kind of an idea of what a high-end restaurant is. And now it may reflect some of the local culture, but it also is very internationalized. You know, such maybe a few Italian dishes, a few different kinds of dishes. But if you go to more like a family restaurant, you're really going to get to try out the local food.
Yeah, I love that. I love to eat in the local restaurant because they have their family recipe. Yeah. Just like in the 𝐷𝒍𝒂𝒃, I have my favorite Filipino restaurant. They opened a business since 1978. I love that.
And the meals are like $2, right?
$1, $2, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if we go to a a tourist restaurant, you're looking at $6-8 in 𝐕𝐀𝐆𝐃𝐷. So
Yeah, if you want to know about the restaurant, stay tuned of the dance cost of living in 𝐕𝐀𝐆𝐃𝐷.
exactly.
Yes.
And then the other thing we notice is like if we fly between cities in a country we're exploring, you don't really get to see the landscape. So not only is it more money, but you don't get to see anything. Now it does go quicker sometimes, depending on how short the bus ride is. But the beautiful thing about a bus or a minivan or a train or some other kind of public transportation, you see not only the people and how they live and how they move about the country, but you also see the landscape.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. So I love to travel with the ferry because it's more calm, you know.
Yeah.
It's not really more calm, but I just love to be in the ocean. So it's not like a bus, it's like, you know, very like,
Yeah.
you know, bumping, you know,
Yeah.
something like that. But it's definitely not fun traveling during the storm. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially somewhere like the Philippines, the seas can get rough. So.
Oh yeah, sometimes.
So the other thing we noticed is nightlife. We like to kind of figure out what locals are doing.
Yeah.
Like here in 𝐕𝐀𝐆𝐃𝐷, they walk on the waterfront, they karaoke, and that sort of thing. And so we like to go kind of watch and see what they're up to.
And also in Colombia, we went for all the bar, you know, in the Bogota.
Bogota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Everywhere. We're always interested in that. Now
Yeah.
you can always go to some, you know, maybe the top floor of a really nice hotel.
Like
and they'll
Bangkok, like Thailand, you
they'll
know.
be playing whatever you want to hear, 70s, 80s, 90s Western music, which is great. It's fun. But it's really kind of not the same as going to see what the locals are up to.
When we travel, we will be pick about high-end place, but they definitely need to have a very beautiful view, or it is worth to go there, and then we will go try. If that is not worth to do it, like just normal place for having a cocktail or something, we will not do that. Like in Bangkok, they have a lot of, you know, the rooftop bar.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, those
you
are
know?
fun to see the view.
Yeah.
But we don't make a steady diet of it. If we're there a week, maybe we go once.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks, we might go twice. But normally we're just kind of hanging out, seeing what locals are up to.
Yeah, what we want to do, why I love about travel cheap is, I will tell you the reason later.
Okay.
Stay.
Okay. The other thing we noticed is that if we can make a friend or two when we show up in a new country, they can often help us in many ways. So rather than just hang around with, like a lot of backpackers just go to hostels, for example, and they just meet a bunch of foreigners and they go out bar hopping together, and that's certainly fun, no doubt about that. But if you can mix it up a little bit, or if you can find a local or two and get to know somebody and ask them questions and see what's up. And sometimes you can learn, they'll teach you how to make a dish or something. Of course, you can also find that on YouTube. But you can find out how to make local food. You can find out things they do. So it's fun to try to make a local friend along the way, too.
Have you made any local friend? Let me talk first, okay?
Okay.
I enjoy that. So when we're in Mexico, we always go to the dive bar. And those dive bar, it's just very fun. You know, they give you the free, like a snack, and then you just buy your beer, and you can eat nonstop, you know, with the chip and the meat, you know. We have that in 𝐷𝒣𝒈 in the Mexico. It's very fun, and in other places that we went, you know.
Yeah. So it's kind of, if you find a local bar like that, you'll learn. Anywhere in the world, you're going to learn a lot about the people and stuff, and so that's fun to do. We often listen for more local music when we're walking around and peek our head in and go, "Hey, it's a local bar. Let's go in there and see."
Yeah, it's really more fun on that way, you know.
Yeah, and it's kind of entertainment too. Maybe whatever entertainment you're into in your home country. You can try to Google that and find it in whatever country you can go to. But sometimes it's fun just to wander about and try to figure out how people are entertaining themselves on the weekend or that kind of thing.
It's
Whether
people watching.
The beach, people watching. And so, just be open to whatever culture you're in more rather than try to recreate, what's happening in your home life. I lived in India for 3 years, and other times since even, I've been invited to sort of weddings and family events. Sometimes people have a party at their house, and I go to those things. I say yes as much as possible. There's nothing more fascinating than going and seeing how ceremonies and events are different in different countries.
That's very true.
And so that's something you definitely, if you get a chance to go to a wedding or celebration of any kind, a graduation or religious ceremony. It's fun to get dragged around by the locals.
Well, you will be witness a Chinese wedding soon.
Yeah.
They will see the totally different thing.
Yeah, you'll go to your brother's wedding in another month or two. So, yeah, that'll be fun. So, and museums is another thing. You know, you think of there's different kinds of museums. There's art museums. There's historical museums, and we try to hit both. When you're in Europe and you go to the museums in Europe, they're pretty much the canon. You know, they're the Western artists that people know and study in school or read about or know their art. And if you go to a foreign country, if you go to a museum, an art museum, whether it's classical or what have you, it's fun to just notice some of the names, and you'll see a cross section between wealthy families and names and politicians. And when you're in a historical museum, you find like who the founding fathers were in that country or whatever. The roads are named, after these people, and you find out what they did, and it's kind of fascinating because when you make a friend or two, you have something to talk about. So,
yeah, museum is fun.
Yeah, and it's fun to take photos to a lot of museums.
And some of museums are free also. I love the price.
And in the West, the museums are no cameras, no this, no that, and often outside of the Western countries, you can take pictures, and so it's more open and free feeling. So we even remember when we went to the hot springs, and we learned about the Filipino alcohol they like to drink.
Yeah. It's a French guy taught that, not a Filipino.
But his girlfriend was Filipino, and she taught him.
Yeah, I know.
He was here in college, actually.
He's a pilot.
Yeah.
It's to learn about flight. Yeah, and all of this that we learned about alcohol in a different country. Like when we in Peru, we went to eat the pico sour.
Yeah.
Is it called pico sour?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then I found that the best place for you to drink the pico sour in Peru. So and then we go there, and it's not a fancy bar or anything. It's just a normal local restaurant. They have a good pico sour and the food. So we are very enjoying over there.
Yeah, and often they're excited to tell you about their drinks.
Oh yeah.
About the local drinks and the local food. That's the other thing. When you're actually interested, people light up when they're telling you about their culture and their foods or whatever. And another thing we really love doing is just walking around temples and learning about spirituality around the world. There's a lot of similarities about spirituality, and the temples are where hold some of the best art and culture in each country that you'll visit. And so take some time to check out the temples. For
example, like Thailand, the temple will be date back to like 2,000-3,000 years old, and it's still over there. So when you go inside, you will feel, wow, the time is stored up there, and then you will feel the old date time.
Yeah.
And also in the Vietnam, the temple is different. It's more colorful that you can see some of them.
Yeah.
And also in Malaysia, you have a Chinese temple, you have an Indian temple, you have a Malay mosque, and even you can see some church in Malaysia as well.
Yeah.
And also some other different kind of the ceremony.
Right.
Yeah, like in the Philippines, you can see that's the old church. I would say that Philippines have the oldest active church in the Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Can date back to about 400 years ago. That one's in Manila that we visit is the oldest one.
Yeah, beautiful art and inside there, and history and carvings, and so that kind of stuff's fun. It's relatively inexpensive to do really cultural adventure is pretty inexpensive. And it's educational, so you're actually reading the chapter of the book of the country you're in. So
yeah, like we in Mexico that time, we went to seeing the temple which is a church, but it's already mixed with the local culture. So when you go there, it's all dark. Yeah. The church is all dark, and yes, you cannot take photo and anything. I think I can't remember that much. And I was just sit down on the floor because it's all full with a pine.
Like hay leaves or
Pine leaf, something.
Pine needles.
Yes,
There we
pine
go,
needle,
there we
yes. And then there's an old man over there who trying to talk to me. Maybe he want to educate me about the culture, but too bad I don't speak Spanish. It would be lovely to know about that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you're staying more local, you'll find out that the food is less than half the price. Accommodations are less than half the price. And so what that means is there's less financial pressure on you. So when you leave, you take a long flight somewhere. If you can stay longer, then you're amortizing the cost of that flight over a longer period of time. And so instead of just getting to go for a week or two, you can go for months. Or you can do like we do. We just slow travel moving forward. Which brings up another subject. I have a training course that teaches how to retire overseas and also how to slow travel the world, both cheaply. And we have ebooks from 20 different countries, the best places to retire cheap in the world, and we'll be running a sale on that. And I also have a book called How to Fire Your Boss and Travel the World for 13 years. Click below, grab that ebook, and when the sale starts, we'll send you out a coupon for the sale.
Yeah, so now why I love travel too. The reason.
Why?
Because that I want, while you're watching our channel, you know that you can do it as well.
Yeah.
I want to bring you with us to travel. So whatever we travel, we show you the cost of our travel, the place that we will travel, and then you can at least you can make a mathematic calculating that, wow, that is good. I can travel to this and this and this place. I can learn about this culture, this food. I also can go for a rooftop bar for a while, 1 time, 2 times. I can see the differences of the whole country.
Yeah.
And that is a dream.
There you
but
go.
your dream will become true.
Yeah, so if you will, if you have, no matter who you are or what your resources are, almost all of you can do some form of travel. And if there's a range of budgets that you can fit your life into, then there's more opportunity for everyone to travel. So
yeah, so we can travel, you also can travel.
yeah.
See you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.